Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Epikism's new podcast. Obviously, I'm your host, Epikism, Epic, whatever. Um, Here sitting with me today is a very dear and special guest here. Someone who I've known for quite a while I've been streaming, and I would probably say one of the biggest personalities that I've ever come across ever on the platforms. So we're gonna introduce her right now. You might know her under a different alias. Before she changed over. Might know her back in the day as Rushy Nintendo, but now she goes by the name of Rushy Rushu. So here she is. If you want to introduce yourself.
I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yes, we have known each other over a year now, and I can't believe you think I'm one of the what? What did you say about my personality? I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, I don't know. Not that I don't know, but it's like out of a lot of the content creators that I've seen out there on the platform, I'm friends with a lot of great people out there.
Yes.
Um, but I would say when it comes to your personality though, like I've always commented that you're like the vitamin of the streaming platforms. This is when people seem to need something in their life that they're missing. I feel if they're kind of down on something and it's you need to pick me up or need somebody to kind of turn the mood into a positive sort of atmosphere. I feel like you instantly do that for a lot of people. Where it's
Thank
just
you.
even for me too. When I sit there and I lurk through your streams and sit there like that. Sometimes I don't feel like talking, but I don't want to be a grouch either. But just kind of feeding off of your aura, your positivity. Really does great things where um you know I think I don't know I don't feel like I should speak for everybody else on the platform, but I feel like a lot of them might agree where you have that effect on people where it's just that positivity turns into something great. When people are just what, your positivity is amazing, this is why I'm here, this is why I sub, this is why I follow, this is why I'm tuning in every day because we need more people like this in the world. Or maybe just you're that unique type of person um that has the audience that you do because they just enjoy that sort of atmosphere so much.
Thank you so much. Like, oh wow. I didn't actually, I know that people come because of the positivity, and I know a lot of people, sub and stay. And but I didn't know it kind of went to that length. It's nice to know that I've made that kind of impact that, even if you feel like lurking, it still helps bring up your mood. And that's a wonderful, thing to know and keep the stream on that because, I know that streaming is not easy. It's not an easy job for anybody.
Nope.
And if it came easy, everybody'd be doing it. And, it's one of those things that you have to look at what you bring and knowing that it's like, okay, I try really hard on the days that I'm feeling off. I probably don't stream or I'll cut the stream early. It just, so I don't bring anything, that down vibe. I mean, I've actually had a few people tell me, and of course, they'll remain nameless, but they have told me that, they can tell when things are forced.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it's actually more depressing than
Mm.
cheerful. So I really try to keep away from the forced. And so what comes out is always natural. And if I feel like it's forced, I don't stream. because I am aware of this. I don't want, that to make people sad. I want to always keep them happy.
Yeah, that's a very very important thing because much much like a conversation we went to before in the past where um you know where a brown guy said that this is like a small business, like a job, a profession where and it's also like whether or not let's like being the same as like a radio host or a TV news anchor, like we people could read it because like if you guys don't know, um Rush has her camera on, like you can see her visibly, which is not just like by the sound of her voice that kind of draws you in, but it's also like just seeing the cheer visibly that people seem to be drawn to as well. And like yeah, there are times where like we can sit in front of a camera, pretend that nothing's wrong, but like when something's wrong, like you can't mask that. Like that stone face kind of kicks in, and it's just like people just know when you're just not into your job today, and that like something is off, and they're not afraid to call you out on it either. And we need that,
Yes.
because like we don't want to go into work to give like subpar levels of streaming or like uh, engagement and what have you, because like um much like our philosophy, like coming to a stream or coming to a community is like your second home. It's like your getaway from your IRL self, where you're just coming in here, you're watching a stream, you're interacting with your favorite streamer and people within the community. And like if that one pillar of the community being the center point, which is the streamer, is like having an off day, like that's a very wobbly foundation. And like if it's something that snowballs into a very negative thing, and then everything just falls apart really quick, and that could break the foundation and the community.
Yes. And it can. And it can take one stream. But one of the things that I like to implement, and I don't know if people are curious on why I'm able to stay the way at the level that I stay at, is I I literally don't watch the news. I don't read the news. I do not watch the news. I will see, a few things that'll pop up on my Twitter, but if I find that those are going to affect me mentally, I will mute that person,
Mm.
whoever they may be. Because if you're bringing negative to a space where I'm trying to be positive, I can't have that. And since Twitter is my main social media, I like to my Twitter. I like to keep clean of drama. It's where I am usually pretty organic. I post about things that I do with Minnie, or just little things, or the positives from my stream. But if I'm getting on Twitter and I'm seeing, you know, articles and stuff that's going on in the world that's just going to bring me down, I don't want to read it, because what's the point? You can't be positive if you're always looking at the negative.
This is true.
And I also look at this as a streamer, you can't move forward if you're always going backwards. And it's just everything kind of goes hand in hand. You know, if if you're having an off day and you go back to something bad that happened in your past, you're not doing anything good for yourself. You got to let it go.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I find myself doing that, and it's like, you know, because of some stuff that's happened in my past, my mom passing, my oldest daughter passing away, things like that. I can go back into that, but I choose not to, because I can't move forward to the future if I'm living in the past.
Yeah, that's a very heavy thing. Like it's not just like for streaming, but this is like a life thing over in general. Like People tend to dwell on a lot of things that they feel like they have a lot of regret on, or they feel like they didn't put a lot of effort into. But we're not saying like you can always go back and apply the effort, because whatever is done is done. Like,
Yep.
you can't rewrite it. The only thing you can do moving forward is, if you choose to do something else, something new moving forward, put your all into it, put your effort into it, and from there, hopefully you get the results that you're looking for. Because like, you're always trying to find some sort of progression point. You're trying to find an outcome, but if you're not putting the effort into getting that outcome, you're never ever going to look for that outcome that you're looking for, if you're not putting all the effort into it to receive that result.
Exactly. But those are just a few things that, kind of just keep me keep me where I'm at, as far as mentally. I know a lot of people, like when I was on D Live especially, would go, "How do you stay here? How do you push this out every day?" And that is how, you know, we all get punched. We all have that something that brings us down.
Mm-hmm.
But just remember that you have the power of forgiving and forgetting. It's only you that has that. You can't ever be like, well, it's so and so that has to come to me. Well, in my case, it's not somebody that can come to me.
Yeah.
You gotta move past. And that's how I stay at the level. And every day, I wake up and I think of, oh, this amazing thing happened yesterday, or this amazing thing. And I always think of what the day can bring. And I don't let things just fester. And that's another thing. Like, if I have any issues, and this goes for, family, friends, if I have issues, I try to talk it out now,
Yeah.
because I learned from my past, if you don't talk it out, you can never, ever do anything. So always, always try to make things better for yourself, and talk to the people around you. Because if they're having an off day and they take it out on you, talk to them and be like, no, it can't work this way. I'm not taking my bad day out on you when I had one 2 days ago, or, a week ago. And just always keep open communication with everyone in your life, because those people can affect you, mentally down the line, if you let them.
That's a really, really big thing. Yeah. It's just like, you can't let the negatives add up. Like, that's a very bad snowball effect waiting to happen. So, take
Yep.
Rush's word for it. No. I
And
mean,
be
I
sure to
can't
say
I can't
balls
say it
every
better,
day.
right?
Just sometime at the top of your legs, just say balls. You will feel so much better. I don't care who you are.
You gotta say it with a lot of bass in your voice too. Otherwise, like, it's just not the same.
You gotta have the Miss Piggy sound.
Oh,
Grammy. Yeah.
oh boy.
I can't do it.
Not right now, anyway. You're gonna have to tune in later for that. We'll have some links at the right at the bottom for you guys to click into once this thing airs. All
Oh,
right.
yes.
Let's get into some of the questions. So obviously, Rush, you've heard some of the podcasts. You already know some of the questions are going to come forward. So um, we're going to work our way easy, and then we're going to work our way into the hard categories afterward. But you already know them. Uh, so, how long have you been streaming for?
I have been streaming for going on 4 years.
Ooh,
Yes, it'll be 4 years in December when I started dabbling in it. The first year it was, or the first, I want to say 8 months, it was more dabbling just to see if it was something that I could do. Working the bugs out.
yeah.
Because at first I was very lazy. My background laid on my bed. I didn't. I didn't have things to hang it off of. It was just one of those. I went into it blind. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh boy.
I loved gaming. It was just something that it was like, okay, let's try this.
And
But
it's
yes.
like thank God for consoles too at the time. I think like when PS4 and Xbox, like even when I had one, I didn't even think of like streaming. I was just like, just game on it.
Hmm.
And then they gave you the option. It's just like, okay, why not? What else? You
Exactly.
know, what could possibly happen?
That is very true.
Um,
Consoles really did help.
they do like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are on consoles are definitely discovering it and seeing whether or not it works for them or not, and it doesn't hurt to try. Um, it's literally like a click of a few buttons, setting up a few things, but overall though, I feel like try it out, and if it's for you, all the power to you. Hope all works out. If not, like you gave it you gave it your best shot. You know,
Also,
can't ask for more.
if you're, new to console streaming and you're kind of going, well, I have to have a capture card in order to do overlays. That is actually not true. I will post the link on my Twitter. I found a video that shows you how they're basic overlays. They're nothing fancy, but it gives you the overlays you want for console, and it also you can set up alerts through it as well. Video only takes about 5 minutes to watch, and you do it all through Twitch. And when you're done, you can actually have overlays on your consoles now.
Oh,
Yes.
and again, we'll have
So
links down below. So for all your needs, guys, like don't worry. Um, just look into the description. We'll have links, and Rush will set you up.
with what I know, yes.
All right. And what kind of content do you cover on your channel, Rush?
I am. I was saying for a long time I was just a variety streamer, but I have discovered after a lot of soul searching and a lot of reading up on, really what a streamer should be, or what category a streamer should put themselves in. I've realized that I am a variety streamer who means horror.
Mmm.
So yes, I do dabble in other games. I will do test drives for games, but I do main horror.
And if you guys haven't checked it out, it's different types of horror games that she covers on the channel. She might main a certain one that we're all accustomed to, but at the same time, there are days like she'll power through a few different types of horror games. So if you guys haven't checked that
Yes.
stuff out, you guys are missing out.
Definitely if you want to check out just my clips, Made of Scare was one of my favorite horror games, and I will be getting back into it and trying it because there's different endings. I
Oh,
really want to see if there's, what the different endings are. I called the ending that I got. I knew it was going to happen. But there are a lot of clips on my channel right now. If you want to check out, my screaming, my running
oh
skills,
boy.
they are there, courtesy of that brow guy and several other viewers. Lego, she loves some of my screams. Um, but yes, Made of Scare is definitely one I highly recommend. You can only get it on Steam right now. You can pre-order it for Xbox and PlayStation. So, if you're looking for a really good horror game, highly recommend it.
All right. So going to the next question. So what inspired you to become a streamer?
Well, okay, so I've always loved video games ever since I was little. My brothers and I used to have competitions. More so my oldest brother and I, but we had competitions on who could beat the game first. And then he got jealous and he started hiding his controllers on me. So that's a little bit of like my backstory on gaming. But I've always loved gaming. But I cared for my mom for a long time, and she was sick. And after she passed, I was lost. played games, but I just didn't know what I was going to do with my life, you know? It's like,
Hmm.
I'm still mom, still everything to everyone, but what was in it for me, that I could do? And to be honest with you, that brown guy, he introduced me to Twitch. We would watch several streamers together. And he goes, why can't you do this? He goes, you've got the passion for games. He goes, every game you've ever picked up with me, he goes, you've always done really well on it. And he goes, why not put yourself out there and see the magic you can create?
Hmm.
And he kind of gave me the wings to go into streaming. And I finally found something that's for me.
That's a really nice sentiment because like I feel like when that one person in your life, probably the most closest to you, obviously is the most effective, like gives you that kind of like, I wouldn't say motivation. It's kind of motivation, but at the same time, it's like that spark. And it's just like, the light bulb goes off, and you're just like, you're right. You know, I could venture down this road and see for myself whether or not this is something I'd like to do or this is something I want to do. But it means so much more coming to that person, who's closest to you in life. Because when they're there supporting your journey and your dreams and your well-being, it means that much more to you to really give it your all into something different, into something new.
Yes.
Because a lot of people
And
like take things like either positively or negatively depending on like of how they perceive it. But in this case, or like I feel like it's really nice that like someone's giving you that that inspiration and that that motivational drive to try it.
yes, and then as I saw things grow, and I saw Minnie's reaction to everything, it's like I just knew this was what I was meant to do.
And that's
And
important too. And the reactions you get from it too, like again, whether it be someone you know or someone you don't know, it they're genuine reactions you when you feel like your content has reached somebody and they're able to grasp onto your energy, and more so like your ideals as well. Someone who clicks with that, you know with that sort of energy right away is so important.
yes,
You
it
know.
really is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that, yeah, I can tell you names of people who come into my stream, and even the first people who are like viewers that made that impression. And I really try hard to remember, viewers, remember things that they told me, so that when they come back, I can ask them. I can be like, so how did this go? Or, how are you doing from this? And even if it's months, I've had viewers come back after a year, and I still remember what they've told me, because I I make it part of my business to know that my community is very strong, and I love to know what they're doing, what they're interested in, and always when they come back, they always know that I'm right there, ready to hear, no matter how long they're gone.
And that's important in this industry, like building that rapport with your viewers, because not a lot of because a lot of streamers, whether you're small or whether you're big, um, don't seem to get that aspect in this business where if you're not building a rapport with your viewership, with the people who have been supporting you in your journey, if you're not building a rapport with these people, they're not going to stick around. I guarantee you.
Yep.
Um, to take time, for them to take time, a few minutes, few seconds out of their day to sit through your stream to see what you're all about, for them to interact with you takes a lot of effort because A lot of people feel like, introverted. Some people feel like, their voices aren't being heard. Some people think, you know, again, it's like coming into a stream is like coming, like, it's like escaping something and you're finding something. And then once you find something, especially like, when it comes to streaming, when it comes to communities, um, like the streamer and the community that they represent can define that person and what they're all about. So, when you're coming in and somebody asks you, when the streamer asks you personally, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? And then they tell you and you go on about it because you care. Well, you know, glad you're having a great day. Thank you so much for tuning on in. And if you're enjoying yourself, let me know. And then, if they choose to keep talking, that's all on them. And then as things keep going, you build that rapport and things add up. So when they come back, like what Rush said, like, after tomorrow or a week or a month or a year, because you were so interested in knowing this person, they were so interested into knowing more about you, they'll come back and, re-engage in a conversation. It's like, oh, you told me you graduated this year. How did that work out? Did you end up getting to, like, the college you wanted to go to? Like, what else did you do between that time? Because I'm interested into knowing that. And
Yes.
I feel like why I seem to, you know, I'll be brutally honest. Like, I watch a lot of streamers, but I don't tend to really invest into sticking around to watch the content because they're just streamers. They're just doing what they do. But like, I feel like I haven't built a rapport with that particular streamer to be like, okay, well, like, I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, it's just like, I'm just a number. I'm just a statistic. Um, Towards, the numbers on the boards or whatever, and it's just like, whatever. And, you know as a streamer myself, I always make it a goal. I always make it a personal goal to always be that person who reaches out to people. Doesn't matter if they've been here for 3 years, a week, a day, or if they join tomorrow. I make it my business to know the people who are coming into my channels, to know the type of people who may be invested into joining my journey and into joining the community, because these are the type of people who are going to support you long term. And if you don't take that time, you're not going to last very long as a content creator, because if you're just looking at statistics, if you're just looking at the numbers, you're going to be sinking in those numbers, because that's all you're going to worry about.
Oh, yes. And you know what? At the end of the day, numbers are numbers. That's all
Exactly.
they are.
Like,
They're not a person.
they're not people.
Nope. And you can't treat people like they're numbers.
Sure, numbers are okay. Like, sure, numbers are like the one thing that people look into when they first stream. Like, when you see that zero change to a one, your face lights up. I have somebody here. But at the same time, though, don't always look at the numbers, and don't always treat people like numbers. Look at their names, call them out by their name, build that rapport with them, because that number turns into a name, and that name turns into a person who will come back to support you if you support them.
Yep. And see, for me, I don't watch the numbers. The only time I watch the numbers is so I know how to interact. Because if I see the numbers fluctuate even by one, that is when I say, you know, welcome to the stream, happy whatever day, and I engage. Now, it is up to them if they choose to engage back, or they can leave. I've seen it happen. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
been here long enough. I've seen it. Some people don't like the bubbly, and I accept that because for that one person who leaves, there's going to be another one who comes who loves it. And so I don't fault anybody, for unfollowing or not following because they don't like it. if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to force you to. But I watch the numbers just so I know how to interact with the stream. I will say it even when I don't see the numbers change, because you never know what service is not showing you the right numbers. So always
Exactly.
keep that in mind as a streamer, or, somebody even getting into it, wanting to. Always know that the number you might see is not showing you correct, because I do subscribe to Streamlabs, and of course I get my Twitch. I will kind of combine the two. At the end of the month, look at it just so I know what I'm looking at, and I will see that there's like just a 10-person difference from Streamlabs to Twitch, because Streamlabs doesn't pick up that one person who came in and stayed for 2 minutes.
Hmm.
And that's how I look at it. I don't ever look at people as numbers, but it gives me an idea on, am I interacting enough? Did I miss that one viewer? Did I not welcome that one viewer? And, it just gives me a little bit of the information that I need to continue my, happy Wednesday or happy whatever. So I can always know that I didn't miss that one person. So if they did leave, they left because, you know, they didn't like it. Or maybe they left because they didn't have time. Whatever. But at least they got welcomed. And that is all that matters to me.
Hmm.
And that is the only reason I watch numbers nowadays, is just so I can make that one number that pops up either in Streamlabs or on Twitch, because I got both going at the same time, that they feel welcomed. That is all.
That's it. Welcome everybody. That's just like, just do it. As soon as you see that
Yep.
thing change, just like, just don't sound robotic when you're doing it, by the way. Just make it personable. Like, don't use the same thing every time. Rush
I do.
Rush does it, but here's the thing though. Like, again, it's like one of those, like, I don't want to say it's like a meme or anything like that, but I mean, like, the energy is just so real and so authentic, right? Every single time, even though she says it in, like, the same type of tone, but, like, the energy is just like, it's always real. When it's there, like, it doesn't work with everybody else if I use that same thing, because, like, my voice is so, like, low and monotone, so I was just like, hey, hello viewer, how are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing balls day. Like, I don't think it would work that like, the same way, sort of thing. And I think what matters, what's the difference maker on that is, like, having a camera. Because if they're watching your facial expression change and their energy matches, like, the visual, and then it makes a lot more sense that way. But, like, that's why I feel like, if you guys are gonna have no camera and you guys are gonna welcome people and talk to them, something like that, please make your voice as interesting as possible, because, like, if you're just, like, monotone, monotonous, like, just, I'm Ben Stein, welcome to my stream, sort of thing, and it's just like, you I guarantee you're gonna probably have a lot of people call you out on calling you Ben Stein as opposed to, like, your content.
Oh, yes.
So going back on the inspirations, for streaming, you said you were watching streams, so, you know, who, like, were your inspirations of streaming? Like, your favorite, like, do you have, like, favorite content creators out on the platforms that you watch that, when you're not streaming?
Um, oh, I've got lots. Like, when I'm not streaming, I will watch, of course, Epic. Um, I have watched Cherry when I'm not streaming. Sometimes, like you said, I lurk. It's, I've got family, and, I've got responsibilities, so I can't always be, all up in somebody's stream every 2 seconds, interacting with them. As much as I would love to, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you were an inspiration, because at the time I was kind of wasn't sure if I was going to do a lot on D Live. And I saw how you were doing, you and I interacted a lot. I talked a lot in your chat. And you really did help, especially going over to D Live. You helped ease that. As far as like when I was first starting out, I watched streamers, but there were a lot of them that were just there for the numbers. So to be honest with you, as much as they probably didn't remember me, I don't remember their names. I'm not saying it to be mean, but there was a lot that, I'd pop in, I'd be like, hello, we they would talk to me for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden somebody else would come into their chat that had been there longer, and I noticed they were getting more attention.
Mm.
And so that I shy away from that. It's like, oh, I haven't been here long enough, so this person doesn't want to talk to me. Then I usually either become just a number, a lurker, or I will, go find another streamer because it has to be, I feel that there has to be some kind of interaction. You can't favoritism as a streamer, I don't believe. Or you're not going to keep your viewers. If you're favoring one person and just consistently talking to them when you've got like five other people trying to have a conversation with you, you gotta find a balance.
Exactly.
Um, as far as like, I really started having more inspiration when I went over to D Live. Em Yakati. Um, I think she's an amazing streamer. I think she's very sweet. I've been following her still on Twitter. She does do still stream, but not as much as she used to. She does have a job. Um, Twigs, but she also kind of stopped streaming, as far as I understand. She's doing more bike riding and things like that. And I respect people who go on with their lives. If they still stream, if they choose not to. Um, let's see, Vixeness. She, I always love watching her streams when I was mostly on D Live. I did discover she now does streams on Twitch, so I was able to follow her yesterday. Um, but yes, I love watching like Tim the Tap Man. His recent blow up on not getting a crown on Fall Guys is hilarious. If you guys get a chance to check out that video, Twitch made it, and it's on the Fall Guys Twitter. It's hilarious. Ninja's a huge inspiration. Not that I would ever go pro, because let's face it, pro I'm just not serious enough for.
Oh, probably.
It doesn't matter what game. I just, when it comes down to it, I cannot be totally serious. I have to laugh because when I die a funny way, I'm not gonna, look and be like, oh my God, start screaming and throwing stuff. No, no, no. That's not me. I'm gonna laugh and yeah, I'm not taking it serious.
Yeah.
And you know that. I mean, you've been in tournaments with me.
True.
And I at one point did try to take it serious, but let's face it, Dead by Daylight is not a game that you could take serious in
It's not an
tournaments
esports
because
viable game.
it isn't. As much as I love saying that I'm a Dead by Daylight tournament player, it's not. And there's too many bugs in it, and it's just not a balanced game for esport.
No, it is not. The thing has more bugs and issues by the day. The community doesn't
Yes.
really help either.
No. Yeah, it's funny. It's like I love saying I'm a Dead by Daylight tournament player. I do, because usually, when somebody says they talk trash in the Dead by Daylight chat, and I just turn around and I'll blow them off now, and I usually just respond with, yeah, well, thank you for your opinion. I'm a tournament player, so get on my level. And
Oof.
usually they leave me alone.
I mean, usually with strong words like that, I mean, like, it'd be hard to rebuttal that. Like, how many tournaments have you played? Zero? That's right.
And it's not I have a fat head or anything. It just, the community can be so bad that if you can just say something like that, usually they just back off and they don't want to take it any further.
That'd be the wise decision.
Because, like you said, you can come back and say how many tournaments have you played in.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
it is a funny game and a funny community.
And if you guys haven't watched enough of our streams, you guys have been living under a rock. So I mean, I'd advise you guys to click some links, check out some contents, because you might learn something.
Yes,
All right. So we
and
have.
you
Oh,
can actually learn just the funny side of Dead by Daylight. I mean, you don't even have to.
like you can enjoy the game a whole lot more when you're not taking it seriously. Like if you're always looking for like a win, if you're always looking for that something, if you're a perfectionist in that game, like you're going to lose it real quick. If you just take it in a way where you're um just out there to you know make a fool of yourself or whatnot, or just like have fun with some friends, like you're gonna enjoy your time on that game a whole lot more.
You will. Yes, take my advice from somebody who took a 6 month break from the game because of a tournament that was 8 weeks long, and I was
Ooh.
part of every week of it. It it can burn you out if you're looking at it serious. And I needed a 6 month break. That's how bad it was.
Yikes.
So don't take that game serious. Don't take any game that serious unless you do plan on being completely pro.
I mean, but then again, just don't take Dead by Daylight Pro. Any other game is fine.
It's not balanced, guys.
Right. All right. Let's get into our next question. So, what was the story behind your username? How did that come about?
Oh, it's interesting. And okay, since this is a podcast, I'm just going to be completely honest, okay?
All right.
So, Rush Nintendo, for those of you who don't know, Rush Nintendo is a character on an anime called Grenadier. If you have not seen Grenadier, you will laugh because what I'm about to tell you, it will make you giggle. So I hadn't had an online gamer tag, and the brown guy was like, well, he goes, you're blonde, you have hazel eyes, and let's just be honest, you got boobs. And so, so, you know, Grenadier came up, and she was like one of the first that he came up with. And he was like, you're Rush Nintendo. And I was like, what is this? I hadn't seen her. And he pulls it up, and I was like, oh my God. So she loads her guns with her boobs.
Oh boy.
If you want a good laugh, go watch at least one episode of Grenadier. You'll find out that, the gamer tag kind of fit my goofy personality. And then yeah, that's where Rush Nintendo came from. And then the change to Rushy Rushu was because I was starting to make a name for myself. I didn't want any kind of copyright information, any kind of issue with copyright.
Mm.
And um, Tears of Glitter had been a great friend of mine. A viewer would like to jokingly say that we're internet wifeys. She had sent me a controller that she custom made, and she had always called me Rushy Rushu instead of Rush Nintendo,
Ooh.
or even just Rush. I tell people call me Rush, but she always called me Rushy Rushu. And she sent me this custom made controller, and she even has a video, I think, on her. I have it on my YouTube, and she has it on her website. And it says Rushy Rushu. And I knew at that point I needed to just rebrand, and that's where Rushy Rushu came from.
See, these are things I've never known to this day until this very moment I found out, and I've known Rush for over a year now. It's just like, and much like every other podcasts that I've sat down and talked with people with, there's like things that I don't know about people that I just find out the moment I sit down with them and just have a podcast with them, because it's like you know you're sometimes it's okay not to ask questions, but sometimes in a podcast it's a bit different. Like, I gotta ask these questions, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, the things you find out about people is amazing. Like, where names come from, or like, how, like, um the trials and tribulations, their journeys and stuff like that. Like, everyone's different, and how things come about, it's like the most interesting ever. Like, you could be friends with somebody for like ever, and then, like, until you sit down and ask these questions, like, you'll never ever know.
Oh, yes.
All right, this is apparently this is the one that stumps a lot of people for some odd reason. It's like a job
Okay.
interview question, but it's like, as Rushy Rushu, describe yourself with just 3 words.
Bubbly, quirky, and giggly.
Okay. The moment she said all of that, like, I'm sitting there, like, all the dings went off in my head. I was just like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, yeah, 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 I see all that, yeah. And she answered all of these in record time. Just so you know, that this is the fastest anybody has ever answered this question on a podcast so far. So anybody else who wants to have a podcast, step up your game. Because, like, it's interesting, because, like, again, like, not many people think about it, and not many people think about themselves, which is a good thing in a way. But, like, when you ask somebody to describe themselves in 3 words, you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, then it becomes like a soul searching question. It's just like, how am I like?
Yeah, see, I've been since I've been working more with my brand and working, with Brown to rebrand and do a lot of stuff that I've been implementing over the last couple of weeks. He made it perfectly clear that it is actually okay to think of myself. I didn't. And so for me to actually be able to answer that as quickly as I did, it's because I actually have thought about myself. I always put everybody else first. So if you would have asked me that 4 weeks ago, maybe even five, I probably would have responded with mom. you know, words that you would have been like, what? Those are your personal life words.
Right?
And now that I'm able and I'm more comfortable with, yes, it's okay to think about myself and my brand, then it's easier to separate, you know, yes, I have my life, but I also have my community and what I've built. And I'm okay with that.
And that's good.
I wasn't.
That's the
For a long
thing.
time, I was,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, for a long time, I was just like, I'm mom, you know, that's the first title I get. And it's like, no, wait, I'm, I'm a different, I'm mom, but I can also be this.
And that's a interesting thing, because, like, again, not many people just think about stuff, they just do stuff. And then when it comes to the time when someone asks you, all right, reflect on yourself. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is that? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you just think of yourself on the daily, but, like, then you come to think, like, again, back to your profession as a streamer. You're just like, how have I have impacted people? Like, how do people describe me? Or, like, how do I describe myself? These are very important things that you guys will come to know down the road. Like, the type of interactions, everything, how you build, how the journey builds you, and how you can look back at it and then look at yourself and describe yourself, would probably be like, um, that moment, you start opening doors for yourself.
Yes, and it is okay to think about yourself. Keep that in mind, because like I said, I didn't, and now I'm realizing, hey, it's okay, and you'll you'll open up a lot, like Epic said. So just keep that in mind.
All right. And next question we have here. So we're gonna get to difficult questions. I don't know. Depends on how. Apparently, like for everyone that I've asked these set of these few questions to, like it's been I would like to say people have, they're like, man, I don't know, or like you call this an easy question, so like yeah, the next, I want to. It's not like a lightning round or anything like that, but like sometimes it's good to look into it because like it does look into like your career a little bit more and a few of the things that people don't know about. So with this question here would be, what has been your most difficult struggle as a streamer, and how did you overcome that struggle?
Uh, okay. I can actually answer this very easily, so this is not difficult. Um, it wasn't quite a breakdown. It was just I had a really bad mental state not that long ago. And it was trying to push the go live button when you just, you knew, I knew my community really wanted me on, and they were interacting on Twitter, they were contacting me via Discord, and I wasn't quite ready, but having the community that I have, you, AK, I'm just going to name a few who were there, to help Brown Guy. I, would- you know, it was bad. And, but having people to talk to that, were streamers as well, also know the struggles of mental, you know, I don't want to say disorders or,
Mental health. Let's just say mental health.
yes, yeah, mental health, because, there's so many names out there for what everybody has that I can't exactly say exactly what I went through. I know it had to do with a lot with anxiety, and social anxiety became a thing, which I never had had before. Or if I did, I didn't realize it. And overcoming that was the the key to it for me was talking to Brown, talking to you, talking to AK Lego. I can name so many people who were there for me through this, and that is how I overcame it, because it was a time that I I can't describe with any words, how it happened, how it came to be, but I got through it. And I got through it because I made friends in what I do. I have strong family, and that's how I overcame. And pushing that go live button got easier and easier every single day.
I mean, mental health is real, guys. Um, it doesn't matter who you are, what profession you are in the field. Doesn't matter, like if you're a student, parent, teacher, professor, doctor, dentist, a lawyer, what have you. But like mental health affects everybody, and it's important that you acknowledge it when it happens, because a lot of people just go straight into denial, thinking that it isn't happening. No, this isn't happening to me. I'm fine. I'll just shrug it off, whatnot, and then when things start to snowball, you will come to realize real quick how deep you're in. And when you start building walls around you and just refusing to talk about it with people, or to reach out to somebody at least, you'll find out real quick how that quicksand like feeling that kind of pulls you away from everything and just puts you into a really really bad place. Um, so if you're ever feeling a certain way, mentally, if you feel like you're going to be dealing with something, even if you feel it's like a very mild depression or whatnot, talk about it with somebody. somebody out there will listen to you, and it's, obviously it starts with the ones that are closest to you first. Who do you feel like, are closest to you in your life, whether it be, do you think it's your friends who are closest to you? Do you think it's your family that's closest to you? Um, and you get to evaluate yourself from there as well. I think when you come out of it, um, the people you talk to and the people who help you out along the way, when you're at your lowest or your darkest moments, are the people who you want around you moving forward.
Yes, and even when you're starting out just telling, reaching out for help, whoever it may be, you don't have to tell them every detail. You can just say, mentally, I'm a wreck. And you'd be surprised how many people will actually be there for you. You don't have to spill your guts.
Yeah, like the whole entire story doesn't have to come out unless you want to share that's completely up to you. But if you just keep it straight to the point and just let people know and how serious it is, then you know those who want to help you will help you, and that's the important thing.
And see, that's pretty much where when I talked to Epic and I talked to AK and Lego, I didn't spill my guts. I just said, mentally, I'm not doing well, and I'm having anxiety attacks, and they were all there to talk. And you just don't have to be like, oh, well, it's this and this and this and this and this, because they understand that, they don't need to know the details.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that real life piles up, and it can be anything. And the smallest thing can trigger you if you don't start reaching out, especially like Epic said with the mild depression. Start reaching out then, because the smallest thing can make or break you.
Don't wait till it gets worse before it gets better.
Yes. So yeah.
All right, that was a pretty good one actually. That's a really good point to talk about too, and I'm glad, like, when we ask these questions again, a lot of people have different answers, and it's good to talk about them because, like, it's not just you or me that could deal with this stuff too, but a lot of people out there in the world, you know, who could be listening to this podcast could also think, like, I'm also dealing with stuff, and maybe I too should reach out.
Yep.
Um,
And you'd be surprised how many people will be like, "Oh, I've been through that."
all it takes is one to connect to help you through it.
Yep. But like Epic said, definitely start with family, because family, you know, if you have a close knit family, they will help, and then branch out,
Mm.
because, some family members can't always be there. They have jobs, they have things to do, but at least they know where you're coming from. And when they can come back to it, they can, and they can help you. But in between, if you pick the right friends, you'll be able to get through it.
That's an important emphasis.
Yes.
Okay,
But
so.
there's an expression, let me tell you that this is what I always tell Minnie. Because, she's young.
Mm-hmm.
Kids come and go out of her life. And there's an old expression. And I hope everybody holds on to this, because it does, to me, it means something. I always tell her, friends come into your life for a reason, a season, or a life. And it's always up to you to figure out, when that friendship ends, what the reason was, and you move on and you grow from it.
And speaking of that, like, I know you've shared a lot about that, in Discord with our group chat and stuff like that. If there's anything I want to say to Minnie, if she ever listens to this, is that uh, being some sort of an outcast myself, during school, I've always struggled trying to fit in. I've always struggled to make friends here and there because I would say for me it was difficult being an Asian person in a suburban Caucasian community where I'm that only visible minority in a sea of in a sea of people. Um, where it's hard to find acceptance, and even in around your own people where now they see you as the outsider because of of how you grew up. um, Making friends is a bit difficult here and there, but much like Rush said, sometimes finding out the reasons may be good for you to have that closure. Also at the same time though, um, one of the things that helped me get through a lot of things is that never stop being who you are. Never stop, doing what you enjoy. Keep doing you. Keep doing what you enjoy. Keep growing up and keep being better, a better you. Because then what people start to realize growing up is that maybe they might have missed out on having that amazing friend that is always smiling moving forward, or always not afraid of being themselves moving forward. That you know they've had a chance to make a really good friend but ended up just skipping out because there's selfish people in the world, and it's a human trait. But for whatever reason, you know people come and go out of your life. I've had a lot of friends during school growing up that I don't talk to anymore. There's people that I've had, friends that I thought that I had through work, that I'll talk to or that I'm friends with, and that's okay because I'd rather have a group of let's just say 5 friends as opposed to 50 friends. Um, I'm not saying it's easier to manage, but it's just those people closer to you matter most to you, as opposed to the sea of people whom you seem to seek acceptance from. And that's the one thing that I seem to acknowledge over time, was that I've always seemed to be accepting acceptance from people, seeking that acknowledgement from people. And it's okay to say, you know what, I don't need everyone's approval, I don't need everyone's acceptance. I just need to be me, keep being me. And to those whom I feel matter most to me are the ones I'm going to keep closest to me, and that's it. So Minnie,
Oh, thank you.
that's for you.
I will definitely let her listen to that because, I have no problem with her listening to any of this. Um, she's a big part of, why I do what I do. And again, thank you for that advice because that's what I'm always telling her. You know, I finally have hit that point where, I don't know if you've watched my stream recently, but I put on fake mustaches. Do I wear them always as mustaches? No. There's been times I've flipped it around and turned it into a unibrow. That's who I've always been. But it wasn't until basically what we had talked about prior, that I just realized I need to be truly me, like all in, and not be afraid of what people think because I put on a fake mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Bouncing the block off my head, that was me. The little things that I add to my stream, those things are just me. And now it's just opened up even more. So when I find things like fake mustaches, I love wearing them. I don't care. I'm undercover Rushy. I don't care. It's just, it's a great feeling. I wear things now that I didn't used to wear, and I'm comfortable as me, and that's a wonderful feeling.
And that's how you know you've made it, guys, when you start. And here's the thing about me too, I'm not always Epikism. like Epikism is a persona of mine, but then again, it's built off a real life experience. It is based off of the real me. But over time, like, I've seemed to be a little less gimmicky, but also at the same time, it seemed to be embracing myself into my persona, which seems to be a lot more engaging and seem to be a lot more open with people over time. Because
Yeah,
like,
I've noticed it in a year, and you've come a long way. And
eh,
I like that you've been implementing just dance or Dance Dance Revolution, I should say. And, that kind of stuff, showing that side of yourself it takes guts. And, Brown and I love watching those streams. And Minnie does too. But yes, I've seen you grow a lot as a streamer, and in just a little over a year that I've known you.
and that's the thing is, as content creators too, like you, over time, like you're going to discover a lot about yourself in this line of work. The people who impact you, like will have like that inspiration for you uh to let you know whether or not it's okay to kind of like let go in a good way, where like you could be a lot more open, do the things you want to do. If there's anything that I've learned from Rush is like again, it's just like do what you want to do, play what you want to play, do what's best for like your own interests without letting others um, have a say in what you do or who you are.
That's, uh, I'm, yeah, I'm flattered that you've taken that, because I I noticed that, you had a lot of your stream that would go, well, why aren't you playing Dead by Daylight? And at first you were kind of like, well, I want to play other games. And it's like all of a sudden, I think like 4 streams into playing Fortnite, you just embraced it. And you just said to your chat, you're like, I play other games. I'm a variety streamer. And it just seemed like after that, you just kind of broke those chains of just Dead by Daylight.
I just want the viewership to also embrace that too.
We all do. I mean, I still, when I play Destiny, which I'm planning on playing this afternoon, when I play Destiny, I don't have a lot of my regulars there.
Mhm.
They want Dead by Daylight, and I understand that, and I love Dead by Daylight, and I love playing it for them. But I love Destiny, and I love other games, and it's just part of who I am. And I still bring the same great content. It's just a different game.
Yeah, it's interesting how like a game just kind of impacts that sort of viewership, and for me and Rush, it doesn't affect us too much because again, like we're just playing what we want to play, we're just doing what we want to do. It's our stream. We get to say, we call the shots. And it's like, if you want to stick around for the ride, by all means, grab a seat, buckle up, and we going for a ride, and it's not going to be bumpy at all. It's going to be smooth as eggs.
Yep.
But I mean, there are a lot of people who do come by. There will be those regulars that'll come in and like come in and say hi and support you, and they might not be as vocal or interactive, but you'll know when they show up, and they like they'll buckle in. They'll probably fall asleep in the back seat like in a long road trip, but they're there.
Yep. And they may only show up when you're playing the game they like, but that's you've got you just got to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things. They may only like a specific game, you like different, and they'll be there. If they really like your content, they'll always be there.
Always.
And yep. And even if you change games, they may not be there for the game change, but they don't push that unfollow button.
It might not be their cup of tea, but you know, at least like they'll be there when when you know they will be, but at the same time, just don't let it affect you mentally. Where it's just like, this game is driving away my viewership. Just play what you want to play, and then when you decide to jump back into that game where everyone comes back, then that'll happen when it does. Um,
And
yeah, go ahead.
when I have when I have a bunch of viewers or regulars, I should say, regulars that come in, and I have them in the room, I will ask them. I'll be like, "So tomorrow I feel like playing this. How do you feel about it?" I like to give my community the input, and the you'll be surprised for the regular people who just like your content and your personality, how many of them will just say, "I don't care what you play, I'll be here." And that is the best feeling. When somebody can say, "I don't care what you play, I'm not here for the game." That's when you're really bringing something out in your content that makes you unique.
Well said.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I wouldn't be rushed if I didn't throw some of that stuff in here, right?
Right.
Oh,
It only
but
took like
yes.
halfway through these questions to break that in, but there'll be plenty more to come. Maybe. Who knows?
Balls.
Um. All right. So we got through the struggle part. Um. So as a streamer, like, did you have any goals that you still wish to achieve to this day, or like, have you felt like you've reached a goal already and um just kind of embraced it, or is there something you're always kind of still looking for as a streamer?
I think as a streamer, you should always have goals. And even if you reach one, you should always have another stepping stone to accomplish. Because there's a difference between a casual streamer and someone who actually wants to grow a business. Because streaming is a business. And I hate to make it sound so professional, but in my case, it's my only job. So it's my brand, my business, my community. And i- if I want to be just a streamer, then I'm happy setting one goal, meeting it, and just being a streamer. But if I want this to grow, I have to continue to set goals because you can't just sit in one place. I don't believe. And so for me, there are goals that I've met. Like I made it on D Live. I really, I didn't make global partner. A lot of people told me I would, but I feel I made it on D Live. And D Live was where I really honed who I was as a streamer. Twitch was a great start, but when I broke away, I went to D Live and I started to really develop who I was as a streamer. That was my first goal. And then now, making the switch back, I always have goals. My next goal, I set little goals. I set 3-month goals for now
Mm-hmm.
because if you can meet your 3-month goals, you can start to meet any goals you set. So you got to set little goals. And even 4 years in, I'm still setting little goals. I always try to make them very attainable. I don't say, oh, I want to make partner, but I want to make it in 3 months. That's going to set me up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this, you know this. Anyone I told this to would be like, well, what do you bring that's going to make you partner in 3 months? And that's when you got to sit down and be like, yeah, I'm not an esports streamer. What can I actually bring that's going to bring in that huge amount of numbers, that's 75 consecutive viewers? Because that's the only step I'm stuck on. But for me, it's little goals. Like right now, I am at the goal of meeting 300 followers on Twitch. When I meet that goal, I am going to do a cosplay stream.
Oh.
Yes, not quite sure what I'm going to do yet because I'm going to kind of leave it up to the viewers when it gets there. I'm eight follows away from that.
Nice.
And yeah, so proud of that. That's a goal that it's like, yay, 300 followers on Twitch. Especially, kind of being just stuck in that little spot, but knowing that I'm growing. That is a wonderful feeling because when I came back to Twitch in December, I was not even at 200 followers yet. I had lost followers because, I was on D Live for almost a year.
Yeah.
And so for me to hit that 300, it's like, yes, I'm getting somewhere. And so to give back, it will be the cosplay. And then I may even I'm thinking about implementing, during that stream, offering, hey, if you give a sub or gift a sub, I'll write your name in a Sharpie, on my arm. Or, just little incentives to make the viewers feel special because they are. They're what got me there. But yeah, for me, it's just setting little goals because there is a difference between just being a streamer and growing your community and your business for yourself.
Indeed.
Because, like I said, if you don't have goals or you feel like you met all your goals, then you're just a streamer.
I mean,
And
it's okay to have like little goals or even like goofy goals, like for yourself. Like, don't always think of like doing it for others. Like, do it for yourself. Like, if you feel like you've obtained something from these goals, like you're putting yourself in a good spot because like when you reach these goals is because like your community help you accomplish those goals, and the more you feel like you're enjoying yourself, like nailing them, then like you can always like do something else for them.
taking away from, you know, I'm not saying that people are just streamers, but always have goal because that's what makes people like Ninja great. Because he has goals when he's streaming Fortnite. You think he's going to be happy with one kill? No. He wants the whole enchilada, and he doesn't stop. That's why his merch is ever evolving and things like that. So even if you set goals of, I'd like to sell 2 t-shirts, there's your goal. You are growing as a streamer. You are more than just somebody who's just doing it for fun. Because that's where I was really going with it. You're not just a streamer. You're doing it for fun if you don't really have goals.
Yeah.
Because without goals, you can't go anywhere. It's like you can't expect anybody to notice you because the goals drive you. I noticed when I didn't really have goals and I didn't really look at my what I was building, I wasn't going anywhere because where do I expect to go? I can't expect somebody to just show up with like, 100,000 viewers and do something for me. I have to make things happen. And that's that's where I was going with it. It's that not that you're a streamer, you're doing it for fun. There's a difference. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry I worded it that way. But, it's you got to do it with goals just because it helps you focus. And that for me is a big deal. And I noticed, the difference between probably, I'm just going to say 218 followers to about 250. I was in a place where it was like, I didn't have goals. I bet what I wanted to on D Life, so what was I supposed to do here over on Twitch? Twitch is hard.
Yeah.
I really had that mindset. I'm like, Twitch is hard. getting noticed. I'm doing everything. I'm pushing, I'm pushing myself to the limit. I'm exhausted by the end of my stream. Why am I not getting noticed? Why am I not getting noticed? Because I had no goals for myself. And I look back on it and it's like, yep, that was me. I did my D Live life and I'm like, yeah, I did it over there. I could do it over here by doing nothing. No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't like, and I could be guilty of that same thing because like I'm a multi streamer like on different platforms, and much like Rush said, like I'm a partner over on D Live. Like I got my check mark. Like what is there left for me to do? What is there left for me to prove? And it's just like just because you're sitting on one plateau, and sure, my next goal could be global partner. To be honest, I'd rather not have it. Right now, for me, is just having my brand recognized more so than having a check mark beside my name, because like if more people recognize you as a person and as a personality as opposed to having a streamer or having that magical check mark beside your name, you know, it doesn't matter what level on the totem pole that you are. Like they're going to support you regardless, as long as you're always putting work in towards yourself to making your community matter. And
Yes.
because when you leave one platform, let's just say if I leave D Live tomorrow, and let's just say if I, much like Rush, I start to make my lone journey over on the Twitch side, I'm not gonna count on my numbers on D Live to help me go all the way from Twitch. Like all the way, like let's just like in wrestling terms, like I went from I went from champion status on one platform to go to a jobber status onto another platform. Like I'm a complete nobody over there. Like you have people come by, stop by or whatever and say hi or whatnot, but it's just not the same as other platforms you were on before. You're gonna have to go back to the drawing table. You're gonna have to go back and say like maybe if I can redevelop that formula that I've had on D Live, or maybe if I do something better to get myself out there more with these people.
Yep. And, it just can't expect it to come to you. You
No,
just can't. And, you know, you gotta work every single day.
that's the thing. Like again,
It's,
it's putting in that work. Like you have to do the work. Like nothing's given to you. Nothing is handed to you. Like much like Rush said, you can't expect that person. Like let's just say that partner or that big name that comes by just out of the blue and gives you the rub. Like you expect that to happen? No. The
nope.
best you can do at this point is just like keep doing you, but do it and do it better, or keep doing what they're doing and do it better. Like if you like this person, like I could be that person. I could be better than that person. That that's always my mindset is like you could go in and watch the next like best streamer or whatever, but you know when you're tired of being that statistic, when you're tired of being a number, you can come see your boy, and then like I'll give you that recognition you're looking for. That I'll call you out by name. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna matter. And then you're gonna find out that you know I've been doing the same content as the next big guy over there, but I've been doing it better all along.
Yep. And you know what? I noticed this. Brown had sent me an inspirational speech by Arnold, and it was about always working. You know, always making sure you're working on something to better yourself, no matter what it is in life. And instead of sitting on the couch and watching TV for 4 hours, why don't you sit on the couch and read a book for an hour? And then when you're done with reading the book, do something else. And maybe put in that 1 hour of TV, but don't don't look at it as, well, you know, I've earned this, I worked all day, and so I'm just gonna lay here and hope my life gets better. It goes for anything. It's not just streaming. And so yeah, if you guys are listening and you're like, well, my life, I'm happy where it's at. Okay, you're happy. But is there something you want to better? You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you want to learn art. Maybe you want to learn, about someplace in Europe that you might want to visit. You know, gotta put in the work to do those things, to learn about them or, get better. So instead of watching TV for however long, put in an hour here and there. You'd be surprised what you'll do for yourself. And that's what I do now with my stream. I put in the work. I push that button. I stream for 3 hours. I don't stop there. In the morning, I'm doing things in between teaching mini. I am always doing one thing at least a day to better what I'm bringing. And it's a constant. And I don't talk about it now. I used to.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just talk about it. It'll get better. This is what I want to do, but I don't got time. Nope. I got the time. I got to make it happen. So, yeah, I don't watch TV on the weekends anymore. I don't. I play games, but I play games as a family and, help friends on Destiny. Since it isn't a huge favorite game on Twitch, I tend not to stream it. And that's okay. I want to bring what people like, but that's where Made of Scare comes in and different games. And it's just one of those things that, yeah, my time I can make, but I have to be the one to give it. I can't expect anyone else to give me that time to put forth. So, you have to work. You really have to work. If you want anything in life, no matter if it's streaming, if it's getting better at wrestling, anything, you have to put in at least an extra hour here and there. Or like I said, and like Epic has quoted, can't expect somebody to give you the magic touch.
I mean, again, we can't emphasize that enough because, like, and this is why, like, recently I've been putting a lot into fitness, where it's just like, much like that mindset, where it's just like, you could be sitting in your chair on a couch, you could be watching YouTube or TV or whatever. All this time that you're putting into the thing, you could be watching tutorials or you could be watching how to's, but you're not applying it. What good is this knowledge if you're not applying it to something? Um, for a while, like, going back to mental health, I was also feeling like, I should be doing more with myself. I could be doing more with myself, and you're gonna have this mindset where it's just like, I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be now. And sure, it's not as bad as you think it is, but over time, you know, I would say it becomes a toxic mindset, and it allows you to embrace the fact that you're okay with who you are, or you're okay with what you got right now, when you think you could be better or you think you could do better, but you choose not to do anything about it because you're okay where you are. And it's it's a thing that will eat you, because like it's one of those things that's just like, if you feel like you could be a better version of yourself but you're not putting in the work to do it, then you're still going to be the same you. You're going to talk about it the same way you have been today, tomorrow, and the day after. But unless you get to some place, like, let's just say for me, I could be sitting in this chair watching YouTube or watching Twitch streamers for for countless hours on end, and then I can say, you know what, with these countless hours on end, I can spend like 2 hours of my day every morning and every evening to better myself, mentally and physically. You know, lift some weights. You know, work on that man chest, or playing some DDR and getting that cardio in. Like I was like, upset with the fact that over time I can look out my window and see how bright and shiny that sun is outside, but I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not going outside. I'm not taking my dog out for walks. I'm not, embracing this sort of thing. Like, you can feel comfortable with, what you have and where you are, but at the same time, if you have that, even that one like iota, that one iota of thought that makes you think you could have been doing something, don't be afraid to just do something, even if you have to do it alone. I think a lot of people feel like they need somebody to give them that push or to hold their hand in the beginning stages. But I tell you guys right now, it's okay to take that leap alone because, like, only by taking that leap alone will you realize that, you didn't need the help that you think you needed to help you get through that first step into further bettering yourself as a person. Because the more confidence you feel about it doing it alone, the more you feel like you can tackle later on. Now, I'm not saying like do a lot of things all at one time and don't tackle more than what you can handle.
And burn yourself out because then you're just gonna go back.
Because let's just say working out, for example. Since I'm going back into fitness, I've been on a yo-yo diet for the past 4 years, where I feel like I've been losing weight. I've been putting in the work to losing weight, and the results show. And then I would just start mass eating again, and just not working out, and put this weight back on. And I love eating. I love food. I'm not afraid to admit it, but at the same time, like, I just wasn't happy looking at myself saying, man, I looked pretty good back then, and now I'm just like, kind of letting go. And it gets back to the point where it's just like, only you could do something about it. No one else could. They can tell you what to do or whatever, but like, they're not gonna do it for you. Like, they can't lift your arms or move your legs to do something for you. Like that's all willpower on your end. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do something about it. And and much like we're going back to the talk about, handling more than what you can handle to burn yourself out. When I work out, when I start working out, like, I do it. I do large sets, but like at the same time, I don't do things that exhaust me right away, because my mindset when I went to the gym with my friends, because of the way they go hard. They go really really heavy. They go intense sets, and by the end of that day, when I first started working out with those guys, I was just like, man, my body is sore because I've never used all these muscles that I, like, knew I had, and like, now I feel like jello. And it's just like, the next day, and they're just like, hey, we're going to the gym again, you're gonna go along? Like, nah, my body, no, it like hasn't recovered yet. And that became, putting it off for a day, to putting it off for a week, to 3 weeks, to 5 months, to 4 years. And it's just
And
like,
eventually they stop asking you.
eventually they
They're
stop
like,
asking
okay.
you. And it's fine when they don't or whatever, but at the same time, it's the fact that you're handling a lot more than what you can handle, which tells your brain, you're afraid of pushing yourself. Sometimes it's okay to going back to telling your brain, you know what, let's do what we did before, but let's not push ourselves to that brink. Because you want to wake up the next day thinking, you know what, I felt great about what I did. And I, like, and as long as you have those goals in mind as well. And going back to goals, it's like, if you have a goal of reaching, let's just say I'm gonna do like, 3 sets of, like, of of curls, and let's just do 10%, and you're able to hit that, and you feel good about it because you hit that. And then the next day you can add one more to that while you're doing it. Not one more set, but like one more rep. So you're just like doing 11 instead of 10. And the more good you feel about yourself hitting these goals, like, then, like, you can open yourself up to more possibilities. And it's not just have to be about working out anymore. It could be about, like, what, maybe if I apply this mindset into, let's just say, like, if you haven't been taking your dogs out for a walk, and I'm guilty for that, it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go out for a walk for an hour a day with my dog because like I can take that hour a day to go out for that walk to you know further myself in fitness, but like yet embrace the weather that I've been missing out on, or like build a bond with my dog that I haven't been able to build before. And you'll find out again, you're just building more up. Like you're feeling great about doing things because like you're not overexerting yourself, you're not exhausting yourself, and you feel good about hitting these things that you want to keep doing it because it feels great.
Yeah, and at the same time, that stuff will actually spill over into your personal life too, your relationships, because you're a better person. And it just you'll see not only yourself changing, but people changing around you because they see the difference.
And I tell people about this too, where like people see that aura about you, where if they see you very confident about yourself, that you're happy with yourself, they feed off of that energy. And again, all the way back to what I said about Rush in the beginning, this is like it goes to the fact that like people see this about you, and that's what draws them into you, is the fact that you exude this aura that of this positivity, that goals can be met, and you become that source of inspiration, you become that source of motivation for people that could say, you know what, that person is achieving a lot of success, that person is achieving goals because they're putting in the work. I should be able to do the same things too, and hopefully I can get to the same spot where they are. And what holds them back is like fear, restriction. Don't ever let any of that hold you back from what you feel like what you can do, because all that stuff is mental. It's one of those things, and it's okay to feel that way at first. You're going to question yourself before you tackle a lot of things, and that's fine. But unless you try something, unless you actually do it and say, you know what, it's not for me, okay, you gave it a shot. But if you're going into it, let's just say like if you haven't done push-ups before, if you want to start off with 5 push-ups, do 5 push-ups. If you feel good about 5 push-ups, do 5 again tomorrow, or 5 again later in the evening. The more, the more you feel about yourself, if you feel like you're doing great with it, increase everything. Always increase those goals for yourself, and don't do it for others. Like do it for yourself. You know,
Yeah, because I found out if you talk to others, there's some people that won't like your idea. Some people may not want you to better yourself. Some people may not even want you to do what you're doing. And there'll always be a naysayer. So if you're looking to do it for yourself, don't ask anybody. Do it. Because I, for one, I will admit this. I love my brothers. Both of them think what I do is a joke. And they don't want me to do it. They want me to do what they do, you know, work in the big business. It's not for me. It's never been for me. And I'm okay with that. And they are the first ones to say, well, why are you doing what you're doing? And it's like, because I love it. And it's like, why are you doing your job? And most of the time, they can't even say they love it. But
right? Like a lot of people go do like the 9 to 5 jobs or whatever, and they're just like they hate it so much. The type of people who complain about things are the same people who work the 9 to 5 jobs to complain about those things, and it's just like if you don't like what you're doing, you can always do something else that you like. And people are afraid to take that chance because I get it. Let's just say you work a job, pays you 9 to 5, and it pays you amazing. And then let's just say there's a job that you like or something that you like, pays less, but you enjoy what you love. Sometimes it's okay to take that leap because, like, these thoughts, again, will eat you alive. Whereas it's like, if you felt like you could have done something better with yourself, or felt like you could have done something you enjoy a whole lot more, um, then do whatever makes you happy, because in the long term, you're going to feel great about yourself because you're going to go back into doing whatever it is you're doing and enjoy what you do every day. You're gonna be like waking up and you're like, man, I can't wait to go back to like um, for me, for example, like I've done office work, call center work, whatever, but I've also been a barista for like 20 years of my life, So I'll wake up and I'll go to my coffee shop, where I work, hypothetically, let's just say, and just be like, you know what, I can't wait to go to work today to talk, like, with my regulars, to be making great coffee, you know, instead of, like, pushing numbers into a computer for 9 to 5 and stuff like that, and just be unhappy with myself because I hate working with these people and I hate the boss, and, like, stupid amount of work that we have to do, and blah 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 blah. It's all this negativity that's going to eat you, and it's going to prevent you from, embracing what you want to do. And if you're worried about the pay, like, let's just say if you go from office work to bartender work and you enjoy doing bartending work, your tips are going to trump whatever it is that you're doing 9 to 5, because people enjoy your company. Because, like, if you're putting out all this personality into your work because you enjoy it so much, like, they'll pay, like, I don't know what's the price of beer these days, like $7, but they'll tip
I have
you,
no idea.
$20 because you're amazing. All that stuff adds up.
Yep, and it does. And you know, like I said, love my brothers. 9 to 5 works for them. Having always having money, yes. I don't always have it, but I'm happy. And I know, that's what they want for me. And it's like, you know what? Money doesn't make the world go round.
Mm-mm.
My life has never revolved around money. So why is it now, you know, I'm supposed to want it because they want it for me? Uh, I'm good. It's like, nah, they can keep it. Love them, but they have their lifestyle, I have mine. And as long as I can, you know, keep up with the stuff that my stream needs, I'm happy. And I can keep up with Minnie's needs, I'm happy. It's just one of those things that I know where I'm happy in life, and that's where everybody should be at some point, where they're just happy. They can, you can want $1 million. Everyone does.
Yep.
But are you happy with your family? Are you happy? That's all you need to be. Because money comes and goes.
I mean, this is this
Uh,
is this is the real world, guys. I mean, like, sure, it'll help you get by and stuff like that. At the same time, though, like, if you're not happy with what's going around with you or around you, then you need to reevaluate things and just, like, find a fix real quick. Well,
yeah.
it may take time. I'm not gonna lie, it might not be real quick, but it's gonna take time. But, but it's up to you to explore your options and to, again, evaluate where you are, where you want to be, and how you're gonna get there.
Yep. But yeah, just make sure your number one goal is always just to be happy.
That's right, guys. I was just say
If
that
you're not,
covered the
come
last,
over to my stream.
right? I'm telling you guys, if you guys ever need a dose of positivity, or, like, I'm just saying, like, we don't have access to Joker gas. It doesn't exist here. But I mean, if you go to Russia's stream, you'll be doused in positivity and maybe a dose of the giggles. I don't know, but you're gonna have to tune into that stream to find out. Like, I can't tell you guys. I can tell you guys from experience, maybe, yeah, but personal experience, you guys are gonna have to take that dive, and you know, um, that's the thing. Don't be afraid to take a dive. And guys, again, we're gonna have links in the description below, where you can, find Rush's streams. And the most important thing that you guys are gonna take away is, like, um, we sit down here with a lot of great content creators in this community, and I hope you guys have been taking the time to visiting each and one of their channels to, see how they work, to see how they interact, and, you know, to see how great they are, within their profession. I just don't, you know, sit down with just anybody. I I'm not just friends with just anybody. You know, the people that I sit down with and talk to, the people whom I want to get to sit down and know, are the people, who I've been friends with, obviously, but also people I feel like who've been amazing above and beyond at what they do to provide for their communities. Because it's like, for what we do, it's a very, very selfless thing. And, for them to provide the content that they do, to provide a community for people to, come into, um, speaks volumes about, like, the type of work, or that, the length of the journey that, um, that they've endured to this point. Whether you've been streaming for, let's just say, like, 3 4 months compared to 4 years, it don't matter, because, like, the amount of work you put in to that journey, is, should always be consistent, and should always be at your best. And
You really should. Thank you for the honor of being on here.
not a problem at all. Like, I mean, I've always been meaning to sit down with you, doing this podcast for a while, and there's a whole bunch of other people on the list that I've been meaning to. It's just finding the availability to sit down with people when they're available is the hardest part so far.
Oh, I can imagine. Like today, I really didn't know if I could actually make it on time. I won't lie. I got I got the homeschool thing going on. We had a bunny who needed to be cleaned. We had a dog that was being a picky eater, so I had to run to the grocery store. I grocery shop this morning. Homeschool mini. I was just everywhere. But, when you set the time, it's like, nope, I want to do this because I consider you a great friend. And, I think this is an honor to be part of a podcast. This is actually my first. So I do, I think it's a great honor and I do appreciate it. And I appreciate being able to sit down and talk to a friend and actually, you know, talk about the real things. Like a lot of people don't know some of my past. I don't talk about it because it's not, it doesn't change who I am if you know or don't know. And it just, it does give you an insight on where I've been, where I'm coming from. But it's also just one of those things that when I'm ready to talk about it, I talk about it, but I don't pour it out on my stream.
Yeah, there's a time and place for that type of things, and streaming is definitely not one of them. And again, just having an outlet like this podcast just really helps people kind of say what they want to say, if they want to share it, that is, and then just, like, helps you understand your favorite content creator a whole lot better, because, like, again, like, much like Rusher said, you just don't know what people are just dealing with, or, like, what they're willing to share. There's a time and place for things, and hopefully for those, from Rush's community, for those who tune into your stream, who follow her on Twitter, take away a lot, from this podcast, because, like, I mean, like, um, it's been really great, again, to sit down with, like, really great friend in this profession, and just to know them more as a person as opposed to as a streamer. um you know Things, that are, new and revelating, that you discover about people on a daily. um you know Much like it is an honor for her to, like, sit down and do this with me, it's an honor for me to sit down with her, to do this thing, because you know uh I again, I just don't sit down and talk with anybody. It's just one of those things. It's just like, you want to sit down and talk with people because you want to, and discover more about them, things you never knew before, or, like, things they want to share, and that's more to add on to the journey, of just knowing your friends and just knowing, what goes on with them and in their life. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it relates with you a whole lot better, and that you can open up too. That you're not afraid to open up and to talk about the things you want to talk about too. That we're not just like streamers. That we can be that that person you can come and talk to as well in the community whenever you have something you want to talk about.
And like I always say, if you're not on my Discord, my Twitter DMs are always open. If you hear something on here that you can relate to and you'd want to talk to me about, or even Epic, I'm pretty sure Epic would talk about it. I'm open. You could message me and be like, hey, I this brought up this feeling, and I'm feeling like this. DMs are open. I may not be able to get back to you right away. I can't promise that I'll be right there, but I am a good listener, and when I do have the time, I will be there 100%. I won't be all over the place. So, just if you need that. And then also, there's one thing I wanted to address, Epic.
Go for it.
And I've been reading this on Twitter, and I've been watching a lot of bigger streamers. And I don't necessarily interact with their streams, but I interact with their Twitters. And I've noticed that there's some poor treatment going on right now. And I think people really need to really look at this. And I think you'll agree with me. But Twitch partners, especially, are starting to get disrespected. And I don't think this is appropriate. Like, for me, I'm not sure. I'm not the only one. But when somebody comes into my chat, they're a person. I don't care what badge is by their name. I honestly couldn't tell you if a partner's ever been in my stream because I don't look at badges.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the name, I look at them saying hi, and I look at them as part of the community at that point. And I've noticed that there have been several partners that are getting mistreated when they go into smaller streamer streams.
I think I know what you're talking
And
about now.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. And it's one of those things, I'm not going to name names because that is not my place. But it's not, I don't think it's fair. Whether somebody has whatever I don't even know what a partner badge looks like, to be honest. Is
But
that bad?
not at all, but it's that purple cloud-ish with like a white little circle with a check mark in there. I mean that's the partner badge. But to clarify what Rush has been talking about, so someone was streaming one day and someone decided to, I think it was either host or raid. Um, it was a partner who raided this person's stream, and this person decided to call him out on it. Saying that like they're like looking down on him to make him look bad or something like that, or just like oh well, you almighty partner with your numbers and stuff like that, or just like creating clout for yourself when it wasn't the case. It's just a person who's just like you know actually the actual context was the streamer went in to support the streamer. The big guy went to go support the little streamer, and then he's like, well, this guy's been here for a while. And then and then that blew up from there, and it's just like um when someone decides, it doesn't matter who they are, viewer, affiliate, partner, if someone takes the time out of their schedule to come by to say hi to you, doesn't matter what the reason may be, like you're gonna like welcome them, like the fact, like I treat everybody the same, doesn't matter what's beside their name.
And I'm the same way. And yeah, I, yeah, like I said, the only time I ever realized who was when I was on D Live because it was easy to see. but Twitch moves so fast and my stream can be so, high energy that there's times that I see the name, I remember the name, but I don't see the badge.
So yeah, main takeaway: respect everybody, treat everybody with respect.
Yes. And hey, you don't know if that partner has fake accounts. And they could be watching you from an account that isn't even checkmarked.
Exactly.
Doesn't even have an affiliate status. So, you know, you could be getting noticed and not even know. But if you're treating somebody else poorly, they're not going to come back with their stream and their partner status.
Right? You've
So,
burnt the only bridge you've ever
yep,
had.
pretty much. Yeah, it's just I've been reading more, and this is not that's I've seen it in a couple of things, and it's like, guys, come on, have some respect. We're all in this together.
Exactly.
And if somebody's willing to take, like Epic said, any time out of their day to be there, it's up to you on how you treat them.
And with that said, I think that covered every other question that I've had to ask. And I think I only have one question left out of all of that. So I've scratched out every other question after that because I think we just covered it all in that whole entire discussion. Um,
Epic and
because
I could do that. We could ramble on and on and on.
I, it's like that though. I mean, like, well, when we have something good to talking about, like, when you have something to talk about, you just want to keep talking about it because, like, people just need to know. Like,
Yes.
like the other questions that I was gonna ask is just like, what do you do outside of streaming? And she could answer that. And it was like, whom, like, like, who do you feel is like, you're closest to in the industry? She's already answered that. Even offering advice to somebody who wants to be a creator, what would you want to tell them? We've gone into that, so it's just like I didn't have to ask that. We just already covered it. And what's left to ask before we close down the podcast is what would Rushy Rushu like to say to all your followers out there, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on Twitch, um, whether it be the followers here in my channel, like what would you like to say to all of them who's been supporting your journey up to this point so far?
First of all, thank you. Thank you. I love you all and I appreciate all you. Without you, I can't do it. I can't do what I do. And you're the reason that I can bring the energy that I bring. Another thing, please keep this in mind. Even if this goes back to what Epic and I talked about earlier, if you're gone 1 day, 3 weeks, months, year, whatever, please don't ever feel the need to come into my stream and apologize for not being around. I understand. Life happens. The only thing that matters to me is that in that time, you still remember who I am and you're willing to stop by again and say hi. So don't ever feel the need to come into my stream and apologize for being gone because it's all understood without words. And like I said, I love and appreciate each and every one of you. No matter what you contribute the world to me when you're there. And that's what means the most to me. Just you being there, talking in my chat, saying hello, and giving me the opportunity to entertain you. That means so much. So, again, thank you.
Remember that, guys. Remember that. Like this won't be like the first and last time you hear that here in this channel too. Like by all means, like when we close out streams, we say the exact same thing every single time because it's not we're saying it. We're not saying it for the sake of saying it. Like we shoot from the heart, always, and
Yes.
it means it means a lot to us. Again, whether you're one person, 5, 30, 500, whatever the number may be. Like again, the numbers don't matter, but the fact that if you're sitting in that stream, if you're listening to these words, like if you're ever listening to anything that we say in any given situation, just know as long as you can hear that voice and the moment we address it, like we're shooting from the heart and we mean it. We're not saying this to like for clout or to hang on to you know viewership or whatever it is. Like just know, like much like has Rush has been telling you guys, like it's like it means a lot to us that you guys support and just keep on doing it. We're never gonna ask for more than that.
Now, like I said earlier, money comes and goes, but your friendship, your viewership, your talking, all of that is remembered.
And with that mentioned, guys, we are going to be closing out this podcast. I know we're gonna have links in the description, but Rush, where can people find you? Um, where can the people find you if they're ever looking for Rushy Rushu?
Well, there's a couple places you can find me. There is, of course, Twitch, twitch.tv, Rushy_Rushu. Actually, yeah, I think they do with the underscore. Sometimes it doesn't. But yes, I'm the only Rushy Rushu on there. You could type in Rushy and it'd probably pop up. You can also find me at Twitter. It's at Rush Nintendo, and I can. It's RU. I'm trying to spell it off the top of my head, and it's been a while. RUSH UA capital TENDO. It is also Rushy Rushu on there if you actually search it. I am also on Instagram, which I'm not on there very often. I'm trying to be more active there, I promise. And that's again just Rushy Rushu at Instagram. And then the biggest place where I would love for you to, even you can watch my stream there as well. It's my website, which is retrorushentertainment.com. And there you can find out information about upcoming streams, about you can watch my stream there. You can watch or find out more information about me. I'm starting to. I want to start doing like Q&A. Like if there's a question that even like Epic would like to ask, but didn't get around to it, he can ask me, and I can post the answer on there. Um, so that would be a great place for you just to hang out. Of course, it's Streamlabs. It's linked to all my other stuff. If you want to see the new merch that will be released soon, it's not yet released. Of course, not pushing it in any way, but it is very very unique, and it will be. I think people really like what's coming out. It's taken about 4 weeks to start really getting it into place.
Ooh.
So that's there. There's also different things about like my sponsors, which I've actually dropped a few. I feel that I needed to take a step back from sponsorships because there's some products that I don't feel I want to endorse anymore. Now, I won't get into companies or anything like that, but for personal reasons and just because it is more work to push someone else's brand when they're not helping promote mine is it's kind of a give and take thing. And I've come to the conclusion that right now it's up to me to build my brand and with help with help from Epic, doing this podcast and things like that from friends, from family. Those are the things that matter right now. And since I'm not getting the same from a company, I feel that I need to take a step back from the sponsorships. But Retro Rush Entertainment is definitely the number one spot to find all things Rushy and Giggle Squad.
And again, guys, we'll get all the links from Rush, and then we'll have that in the descriptions below, so you guys will be able to find whatever it is that you guys need. from any of those links at your leisure.
Yes. Never feel you have to either. But if you definitely want like to hear random things that I do with Minnie and stuff like that, Twitter is the best place to follow me. Just because I am very random there and goofy.
This is true. I can attest to this.
So can you though. Don't forget to follow Epic Twitter too.
Yeah. I guess I'll have those links down below too. But I mean, um, yeah. Again, don't be afraid to check out any of that content. Don't be afraid to follow any of that stuff. Again, guys, like clicking links and clicking follow buttons and stuff like that to certain things, they're completely free. They're not gonna hurt you. They're not gonna steal and scan your information. All it's gonna do is it's gonna give you a ticket to viewing one of the best content creators on the planet, and you know everything else is everything else is gonna follow as a bonus. All we ask is is for your audience, and for you to enjoy yourself. We're never gonna ask you for money. We're not gonna hold you up at gunpoint yet.
COVID
No,
hasn't gotten that crazy yet.
no, no. But real talk though. Again, not just for me, not for Rush, for anyone else that I've talked to. They'll say the same thing. We're never gonna ask you guys for money ever. You know, all we ask is for your audience and for you to enjoy the content and just be yourself. Um,
Yep.
Everything else is a bonus. Whatever you choose to do,
Yes.
we're not going. You know, we're not going to tell you to stop. We're not, unless it's harassment, of course. Um, if it's anything you want to do to help out, that's at your own leisure. But it doesn't have to happen. We're never gonna ask you to do it. We're never gonna demand it ever.
No.
So don't feel
But
like you're
I do
obligated to
have
that.
never feel like you're obligated. And for those that do, they do feel that generosity. I have been implementing some new little features when that does happen, and it's my appreciation. So, you know, when those moments happen, you'll see my way of saying thank you. It's it's different, but like I said, and like Epic said, never ever expected or asked for that lurk, that high, that that viewership, anything that you contribute that way is what means the most.
And I couldn't say that any better myself. All right,
Oh
guys.
man.
And again, with all that said, there's nothing else to ask. We could go on, but we got we got things to do in a mere amount of minutes, so we're gonna have to set up for that. Again, I would like to thank Rush for taking time out of her busy schedule to sit down with me to do this podcast. Really amazing to sit down and get to know her more, and for you guys to know her more. So again, please click the links that you guys see there. Give her a follow on Twitch. Give her a follow on Twitter. Um, and do me a favor and sit through one of her streams, and I guarantee you guys will be hooked from the moment you sit through that thing. If you guys have felt like you went through the worst goddamn crisis, example, you went through a breakup or something, and then you need something to pick you up, you know um if you need a smile, if you need to laugh at something, guarantee you'll find it over there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Epic.
No problem. Anyway, so yeah, um there'll probably be more podcasts come up soon. I don't know how soon I'll have them, but I do have a few guests in mind that I have to line up, but I need to set something up with them. And again, I'm not going to reveal any of that stuff right away. We're going to let all that stuff be a secret. This podcast will probably be released when you guys hear it. But usually before I release a full podcast, I release a small clip, just a sample of what people could be expecting, to making sure that they, have something to look forward to. And I might stop doing those though, because I feel like a lot of people just are okay with just that one clip as opposed to listening to the whole thing. So I'm just like, you know what, we might just release this all in one go. But you know, follow Rush, watch Rush, and that'll be it from there. And if you guys have enjoyed the content so far with this podcast, don't be afraid to share this podcast. If you guys have enjoyed it, leave a like and only likes on this podcast. It's only on YouTube so far, so that's the only place you can find it. But if you guys want to hear these podcasts anywhere else, let me know where you listen to your podcasts, as I might start uploading these clips to these other podcast type of sites. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I'm really dragging this on. We got to get going. We got work to do.
All right, I can end it for you.
Do it.
We all hope you have an amazing balls rest of your week.
And you can always hear that when you tune in our stream. And guys, this has been E to the PIK Epikimida 감사합니다. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. We'll see you guys on the next podcast, if not the next video upload. And we hope you guys have an amazing balls day. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Did you guys enjoy that video today? Huh? Don't forget to leave a subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't subscribed already. Also, check out that video over there and that video over there. Leave a likes and only likes on the video and comments as well. And we'll see you guys on the next video.